What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. We just kind of have a break-even day yesterday. I mean, it really wasn't all that bad. We did hit two of these entries here using the correlated strategy, as I always talk about. But man, we get really unlucky because yesterday's YouTube play, which was over here, ends up DMPing, right? These guys, you'll see it on your PrizePicks account that these guys still say live. It's because the game ended up getting canceled because of weather conditions in Southeast Asia. So, of course, hopefully everyone is safe and everyone is good in these times. But really sucks because obviously I thought these guys were going to play their game, and there was another team in the same league that does end up playing their game overnight. And yeah, man, it sucks because obviously we pretty much wasted the Asia Wilson discount, which was a free pick for us, and it's frustrating, right? We've been getting kind of unlucky all week. You guys have kind of seen these past couple of videos. We've had a lot of 3 out of 4s. We've had a lot of things DMPing. We've had a lot of things go on this channel this week, either DMP like last week's taco, or I think we've had like 3 DMPs or something. So it's just been crazy week. And I've been here, I've been documenting all of it. I've been here being as transparent as possible, showing you guys the wins and the losses. At the end of the day, yesterday really, wasn't too bad. Again, we kind of break even yesterday. I take, overs and unders, and as you guys can see, this team, Cloud9, ends up winning 2 games in a row, so they do go 2-0, which is what they were expected to do, honestly. This Cloud9 team is one of the best teams in the West, and this Dignitas team is not very good, so these guys do go 2-0, which causes this guy to go way over his kills, and then this guy to go way under his kills, right? So hit this there, same thing here. We do go ahead and hit this one also for a 3x, and what I really thought was a great play to show was this one over here, right? And you guys will see what ends up happening is I bet on this GGA team to go over together, and what ends up happening is they get actually clean swept, right? So they get clean swept in at 0-2. Based on sports books and everything, they were actually not favored to get swept, but they do end up getting swept, right? That's what ends up happening in this game. So as I've shown multiple times in League of Legends, how League of Legends works is the winning team is going to get a lot more kills. The losing team is not going to get many kills. So because this team lost, both of their guys went under, right? I do end up taking the overs. I liked the overs on these players. I liked, this guy's line, for example, should have been about 7. I thought this guy's line should have been about 5.5. So I thought their lines were off. But again, you really can't battle from a losing situation, right? If your team loses, you're going to not get that many kills, right? And at the end of the day, even though it's difficult and we see this as a loss and this is a loss, that is ultimately what we do want to see, right? In League of Legends, we want to see losing teams not get that many kills, and we want to see winning teams get more kills because that is what we use to correlate entries together, right? We're getting pretty much 2 entries here. You guys will see for the price of 1 because this GGA team does end up losing, so they take the L, and because of that, both of these guys right here end up going under. Same thing here, right? We have another correlated entry here that ended up just finishing, like the game just finished like 5 to 10 minutes ago. And the same thing here, as I took on these entries that hit, this does go ahead and hit also this kind of pair, because what ends up happening is GGX goes 2-0. So they dominate, their opponent, which is Vitality. They end up sweeping Vitality. You guys will see Vitality only gets 5 kills, and they were actually favored to at least win 1 game because you guys will see that their line is like 15 to 15.5. And then this guy gets 11 kills because of his team winning. That first map, I think he gets like 7 or 8 kills. And then that second map, he gets like 3 kills because his team was in a winning position, right? So even though it's been a frustrating week, the correlation is there. The correlation works. The correlation's not ever going to go away, really, for sports like League of Legends, for sports like football. These correlated strategies work over the long term. And, unless something crazy happens, like League of Legends, vanishes overnight, we're going to keep hammering these entries like this. This is last week, right? This week was tough. Probably 7 or 8 days straight of not 7 or 8 days straight of losing, because I know we've had a couple of days in there where we've gone up a couple of units, but really have not seen a 4-man in like a week, right? And it's been tough. You've seen a lot of 3 out of 4s, as I showed the screenshot yesterday. We've had like maybe 5 3 out of 4s, but a lot of 3 out of 4s recently. But last week we were hitting 4-mans pretty much every day, right? If you guys don't know, I update my graph and track everything to the T, and very, very religious about tracking absolutely everything everything on my VIP. I treat everything like a business. I think, if I'm sending plays to you guys, I need to track everything and be very, very adamant about showing you guys how much we have gone up and down on these different days. You guys will see since May 1st, we are up 123 units. All right. So this was updated right before I started making this video right here. And this is pretty much our summer graph right here. And you guys will see, there's ups and downs in this graph, right? This graph is going to go like this, right? And I think this was a good example of, what I said yesterday is this is not a linear path, right? A linear path would look like this. It would look something like this. I don't really know where you can get, a linear path really anywhere in any sort of market, right? Whether it's a stock market, whether it's, the bond market or any sort of market, right? At the housing market, you're never really going to get ups and downs, right? If you think about the cost of a house or the cost of the stock, it's going to consistently be going like this, right? And over time, things normally do go up, right? That's why housing prices and stock prices go up. And you'll see the exact same thing in the course of the VIP, whether this is the course of 3 months or whether this is the course of 12 months, like you saw last year, where we continuously go up and up and up, right? And again, a linear path would look something like this. But you guys will see that over a course of time, our graph will look something like this, right? Because there's ups and downs in this game. And again, we're just going through a kind of mini downturn right here. Actually, a decent correction, a decent downturn. But overall, as you guys always see, we're going to rise back up eventually. Again, I don't know if that's going to be tomorrow. I don't know if that's going to be today. I don't know if that's going to be in a week. But I've gone through this probably 20 times, 25 times on this channel. And, we always rise back up. If you guys do want to see a time where we're really, really losing and we are really, really cursed, probably back in April, which was our only losing month ever. So we've had one losing month on my VIP and over the course of like 16 months. And it was in April. We do go down about 20 to 25 units in April. It was a very tough month. A ton of stuff went wrong. We had a ton of 3 out of 4s. We had a ton of stuff just barely miss. Just you couldn't even believe your eyes, the things that was barely missing and the crazy stuff that was occurring in April. And overall, over the most unlucky stretch of time you could ever imagine, we still do end up only going down 25 units, which at the end of the day, yes, it's tough sometimes to go down, but 25 units is like half of an average month for us, right? Like I said, on average, we normally go up about 40 to 60 units in a month. And again, if you divide this by 3, that would be kind of that same thing there. I think this is around 40, right? So we do normally go up about 40 units, 45 units in a month. And again, April, our first losing month ever, our only losing month ever on the history of this channel, was just about half of that. So let's get into the plays for the day. We do have another couple of discounts, which is great, right? Credit to PrizePicks. They sent out a discount yesterday. Of course, it's going to DMP, which sucks. And then we do have 2 discounts today, 2 MLB discounts. And then we actually should have discounts tomorrow on Taco Tuesday. So they're giving us an opportunity to hit some entries here, which is nice. I'm going to take Tyler Glass now over. Obviously, his line is normally like 6.5 or 7. And we're always going to take these discounts, whether it's a taco or a hot dog or whatever their different promos are for the day. And the play that I like today is this DDV. I'm just going to call him DDV. And him to go under map 1 through 2 kills at 6. Okay, so I really like him at 6. I really like him at 5.5. If you can get him at 6, this is amazing value. Again, 5.5 is also really amazing value. And again, because if you look here, I only have 1 point here, but I do want to talk through this, is that he averages 1.9 kills per game, which means over the course of 2 games, he is averaging about 3.8 to 4 kills in these games, okay? He is not really the cornerstone of the guys who get kills on this team. If they are winning the game, he normally will get maybe like 3 kills. And if they lose a game, he will only get like 1 or 2 kills. Actually, sometimes he gets 0 kills, okay? So he is one of those players that just gets a lot of assists, all right? He does not get that many kills. He plays champions in the game that do not get that many kills. They're not very aggressive champions, and they more help their team get kills rather than getting kills themselves, okay? So I'm taking him under for this reason. I also think, I know I've been kind of saying this all week, but this is another game. If you look at sportsbooks like BOVADA, if you look at sportsbooks like Pinnacle, sportsbooks like ThunderBet, that has a lot of esports odds, this game is heavily favored to go 1-1, okay? This is not coming from me. This is coming from sportsbooks odds, right? I will say the team that this guy is on is slightly favored in this game. They're about minus 150 favorites in both games. But again, when you're a minus 150 favorite, that is not that much in League of Legends. And if you look, you can find things that show them going, 0-2 or what's going to happen. But if you look at the odds overall, they're very likely to go 1-1. And again, if 1-1 does occur, is pretty much going to even itself out. And again, he should normally average about 4 kills per game in that kind of game state. Now, I do think another reason why I like him is if a 2-0 does happen, so DNF does end up 2-0ing HLE, like I said, this guy is kind of a special case where the guys he plays, the champion pools he plays, the type of player he is, does not favor him getting that many kills. And I do think this line ultimately should be about 4.5. Okay, so my estimate is this line should be about 4.5. As I always say, we want to find correlation on this channel, and we want to find closing line value. So for example, in the Asia Wilson discount that I sent out yesterday, if you look, I forgot who we took Breath, right? His line bumped down to 11.5 by game time. So his line bumped down by a whole assist, which is really nice to see. I think the same thing is going to happen to this DDV guy. His line will probably bump all the way down to 5 by game time, which is really solid value. Again, am I going to guarantee that this guy's going to go under 6? No. Of course, he could have an insane game and he could get like 12 kills in a game, but over a long period of time, if you play entries like this that bump down and that are correlated, this entry, for example, is not correlated, but if you play entries like this, you're going to win long term, and that is the strategy we use, right? One more thing, which this has kind of been on my mind, is I've been thinking about football season a lot, and if you think about the Philadelphia Eagles last year, they had a very set strategy, right? They had rushing game with Saquon Barkley, they had the tush push, they had a really solid offensive line, and they had a really solid defense, right? They had a game plan, they had a strategy, they stuck to their strategy. There was wins and losses throughout their season, right? I don't know how many losses they ended up having. I think they ended up having like 5 or 6 losses throughout the season, right? But they stuck to their strategy over and over and over again, and eventually ended up winning the Super Bowl last year, right? Because they stuck to that same strategy of running the ball, of doing the tush push, of having a strong O-line and having a strong defense, right? They didn't pass the ball like crazy. They weren't a super flashy team. They were just a team that stuck to a strategy that they knew that no one else could beat. And it's the same thing here, right? We're going to have wins, we're going to have losses, right? It's not like the Eagles, they lost to some team and they're like, oh, we're going to switch up everything. We're going to start, having Jalen Hurts throw for 400 yards a game. They stuck to their strategy of having their strengths, and they stuck to that strategy for a long term, and it ended up paying off over the long term. So hopefully that sticks with someone too. I know it's been a rough week, guys. Hopefully you guys can understand that everything is tracked also, so you guys will see, we are in a downturn, and that graph is reflecting that there. If you guys do want to sign up for the VIP, if you guys honestly understand the correlation strategy we use, if you guys understand that, there's ups and downs in betting, and you guys do want to join the winning side of this betting team, I will say things are really, there's a lot of great lines on the board right now. There, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have college football kicking off. There's already lines on PrizePicks, which is amazing. NFL kicking off, which is obviously amazing, as well as preseason should be popping up these next couple of days for these lines coming up this weekend, and we're going to be taking a lot of preseason plays going forward as well. All you have to do is text me the word Bovada right here to my number on the screen, and I will go ahead and get you into the VIP plus a $25 payback when you do sign up for Bovada. So it'll be just completely free to you. The states right here that Bovada is legalized is right here, and it's the same sort of concept for Better, for REBET, and for NoVig, all right? So I know a lot of you guys do not have REBET yet, and I know a lot of you guys do not have NoVig yet, and I will get you guys additional months for these different signups. Again, these apps right here are pretty much legal in almost every state that PrizePicks is legal in also. So if you're watching this video, you almost have like a really solid chance that you can sign up for these apps as well and get a month or 2 free of the VIP, all right? So thank you guys for watching. Again, it's been a couple unfortunate days. That's part of betting sometimes. As I echo yesterday, it's a frustrating game sometimes. Sometimes it's really amazing and really happy, and sometimes it's not pretty at all, right? And this is kind of a period of time where it's not too pretty. And again, hopefully you guys understand, I show absolutely everything on this channel, and that's about all I can do in these sort of times, all right? So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys, really truly appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.